Hello and welcome to the We Recommend podcast, a movie podcast where every week we recommend a movie for you to watch and then come back here and listen to us discuss. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Jason.
The world is hell. We have a chance to start over in the rubble, but first, there has to be rubble. Because this week we recommend Source Code. So, I'm just in love with time travel type-esque things, and I feel like we've done a lot this year with like Looper and Minority Report kind of deals with time. It's like, man, I love it. And what did you think of Source Code?
I thought it was awesome. It was a great short movie.
Yeah, it's like a fun little, I mean, I guess it's kind of based off like a Quantum Leap type
That's
type
what it
of
reminded
stuff.
me of.
And the guy on the phone,
Yeah.
that's the guy from Scott Bakula, right?
Yeah.
That's Scott Bakula from Quantum
yeah.
Leap. Yeah. I was like, hell yeah, that rules. But man, I just love
If Scott Bakula ever became a vampire, would you call him a Bakula Dracula?
Scott Dracula. Yeah, I just think it's a very fun, short, nice movie that ties everything together very well. It's got an emotional hook that kind of works, I feel like, especially with like the father stuff. And of course, Jake Gyllenhaal is just a great actor. Love the guy. It's like my favorite actor, really.
Did it make you have like an existential crisis?
No,
There's,
not really.
have you ever heard of the theory of Cartesian skepticism?
No, I haven't.
It's the whole
It's too smart for me to know.
It's the idea, it's a thought experiment that people are just brains in vats. And that you couldn't prove that we're not.
That's true.
Kind of like the Matrix.
It's kind of, I was going to say, it's kind of like a simulation theory or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we'll never know.
But
like,
this is Gyllenhaal is a brain in a vat.
So if you like, do we have eyes and like a mouth in a vat too? It's just like floating heads.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of what I'm
Are
getting
these
at from.
talking heads just floating in a vat?
It's like whenever a video game kind of glitches out and you like glitch into like the character's thing.
And
All you see are the eyes, giant, weird looking mouth and the brain.
Yes.
It's like that. We're just floating around. So once we die here, we just wake up and we're like, ah, why is everybody just a bunch of floating jars with brains?
Nightmare.
That'd be pretty cool. No, it really didn't give me that type. It gave me this feeling of where I need to be told everything's going to be okay. But I just felt like, I don't know. I feel like every time they're like, tell me that everything's going to be okay. I'm like, God, sometimes I just need to hear that too.
Yeah, I think everybody does.
So it really struck to my anxiety about just existence, I guess. Or I just need someone to be like, no, like, you're cool, dude. You're good.
You're going to be okay.
Yeah. So like, what was some stuff that you liked about the movie?
Like the 8 minutes of time travel. That was cool. And the whole like alternate reality that he's in.
Because you don't really expect it to take that turn.
Yeah.
At first, you're going to be like, oh, maybe he'll just like change the past or something. But whenever it's like, yo, I'm like just chilling in a whole new reality. There's a lot of plot holes, I feel like, because it's a time travel or alternate reality movie. But
and then Jake Gyllenhaal decides to become the guy from the Matrix who betrayed everyone to go back into the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just like, I'm fine with this.
You know what? I don't care that I have a different face. Though I think like, I hope he really, checked his like main character, like the character he's in, like, made sure everything looks all right.
I'm just going to be this other guy now.
That's like, man, I hope he's not like got 3 months to live or anything. And he just hasn't told this girl or
oh man,
he like just, as soon as he goes into the bathroom, he like checks his whole body out in the mirror. He's like, damn it. Got a micro penis. It's like, oh no, I didn't think about this. At least you're living.
Do you think Scott Bakula ever ran into that? He just kind of,
or he gets in another body. And he's like, dang it,
you got a micro penis. Oh crap.
This is like, oh no.
Or maybe he gets off in his new reality. He gets off the train and gets onto the speed bus.
Yeah,
on accident.
Yeah. Or he's like, oh no, my character has premature ejaculation.
Raging herpes.
Yeah, that would blow. That'd be like my luck. I'm like, crap, I got the one guy, huh? No, but this movie's very fun. I love movies like this where you just keep reliving the same amount of time over and over. And then just like all the little details that you saw at the beginning eventually start making way more sense. And it's like, this is fun. Especially when he starts going like, hey, watch out. hey, that. And it's like, yes,
Watch
please.
it, lady.
Love this. And something I really like about this movie is, what's her name? Michelle Monaghan's character, Christina, with how she's just constantly having to live out like, what the fuck is going on situation. She just spends the whole beginning of the movie like, what? What's happening? Why are you acting weird? Something I would like to know is, because the character that he is in the train sequences when he goes into them, like, what are their relationship? I mean, they seem like they're
like work.
Do they just work buddies that are trying to go out for coffee one time? Because when he kisses her for the first time, I'm like,
she's really into it.
Like, okay, I mean, obviously they have some sort of connection, but this seems like their first kiss, and it seems very abrupt.
Like an office romance that never had a chance.
Like, whoa! Like, I wish you like push off. Like, I don't know what you think this is.
Or like he's her boss.
Yeah,
or the other way around. This is wrong.
This should not be happening.
Papa, get off my face.
So we'll hop into a little bit of some factoids. So Jake Gyllenhaal had an earbud in during the train sequences, into which the director would start playing music at any point in time to help Jake Gyllenhaal's character look disoriented. The director played random songs as well as static buzz at times.
Whoa.
So I'm assuming at times where he's like, And something I love. Mr. Incredible sneeze over there.
Oh, God, here comes another one.
Snake, look what you've
I think I'm allergic to snake.
Yeah, probably. And there's just so much hair everywhere.
I don't know.
I need to raccoon. Something I love is just when Jake Gyllenhaal kind of gets like this like childish grin on his face throughout it. Anytime he sees something happening. Smile. Yeah, and I'm always like, I wonder if they like played a song he really liked, and he's like, because the thing that like hurt Jake Gyllenhaal was him being so boyish, I guess, kind of looking throughout his filmography, or career, and I always feel like that kind of played a thing against it. But whenever he brings out that like, hey, I'm just a guy,
I'm just like a stinker,
it's always really funny to me. The white van, right? Inside it, the only thing that was real was that box. Everything else was completely CG.
Oh, wow.
And now if you go back and rewatch it, it definitely seems like that, but the box is the only thing that's in it.
The dirty bomb?
Yeah.
Because, like, what was the point of all the other stuff? I mean, I don't know bombs.
All the stuff, there was just a bunch of explosives in it. I guess it was essentially like a nuclear bomb in a car. So Lindsay Lohan was originally cast in the role of Christina. However, producers decided to recast the role.
That would have been cute.
Right. When legal issues conflicted with the filming schedule. Michelle Monaghan was eventually selected as a replacement. Lindsay Lohan, I forgot. It's 2011, so she's kind of came and went, I feel like, at this point, right?
I suppose. Maybe. I mean, I don't know what was out then, because it wasn't Mean Girls. That was way before.
Yeah, Mean Girls was like 2004, I think. Okay, so this is going to be the last one. There's really just not a lot of facts, really. There's not a lot of information about the movie, or nothing like super interesting when it comes, other than Jake Gyllenhaal was actually the one on board for he was cast first before they even had a director for this film, and he was the one that said that he wanted Duncan Jones, the director, to do this movie. And I don't know if you ever seen the movie Moon. It has Sam Rockwell in it, and Kevin Spacey plays like a evil robot on the spaceship with him.
Nice.
It's kind of like very what is it called? 2001 Space Odyssey. It's very similar to that, but not at the same time. That's a really good movie that we'll do eventually.
2001?
Yeah. I kind of feel bad because Duncan Jones, after this movie, did Warcraft, and just nobody liked it because...
I thought Warcraft was all right.
I haven't watched it, so I don't know anything about it, but you know, if you make a movie about a video game, it's just going to piss somebody off no matter what.
Well, yeah.
You're either going to piss off the fans or...
I was a fan of the game for a little while there.
Yeah, I never played it.
Like a year, I think I played it.
And then I think he did a movie on Netflix called Mute with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Never watched it. I'm assuming the guy's mute.
Not a lot of dialogue.
Yeah, it doesn't have great reviews, so I need to check it out. I think it's like over 2 hours though, and I was like, nah.
It's a long time for someone not to talk.
Yeah, I'm sure there's people talking around.
Just saying everything for him.
So the pilot episode, Genesis Part 1, The title of it's called September 13th, 1957, of Quantum Leap features the main character played by Scott Bakula jumping into someone else's body in the past, and the episode ends with him calling and talking to his father as he is still alive during this time. Final scene of Source Code, when the main character similarly takes advantage of being in the past, call his father, the father is voiced by Scott Bakula.
Nice.
So yeah.
That's cool. He's like, Ziggy.
They're just like, let's just do it. And so the film contains several references to the two movie versions of The Manchurian Candidate. I don't know if you saw any of those.
I've seen the one with Denzel Washington.
Denzel, yeah. That one's crazy, man. Like the first one's better, but the second one, it's like, what the hell? A lot of choices.
I didn't see that one.
But the cool thing is that Via Farmiga, the Goodwin, and Jeffrey Wright, what's his name in this movie? Whatever. You know the guy with the crutches?
Yeah.
They're both in it. Jeffrey Wright's
great.
So good in Manchurian Candidate. He's great in all the Wes Anderson movies. You know?
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to our Asteroid City, you can listen to us just gloat and love, and say how much we love the guy. And Vera Farmiga is very good in this movie. I love her. She's
the officer he's talking to in the video.
Yeah, and she's Lorraine Warren in the Conjuring movies. Very good in those. All right, man. Well, I'll just run down the cast real quick, or mainly just the 5 main people to know. So you got Jake Gyllenhaal as Coulter Stevens, Michelle Monaghan as Christina Warren, Vera Farmiga as Goodwin, Jeffrey Wright as Rutledge, Michael Arden as Derek Frost, and that's pretty much all you really need to know. What do you think of the actor that played Derek Frost, the bomber?
I mean, he was fine, I guess. Just
seemed like he was trying too hard.
I don't know. I didn't really pick up on that. I just thought he just seems like a psycho.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that it's it's the first person that Jake Gyllenhaal talks to outside of Michelle Monaghan's character. Because he's he asks, what's the signal? I don't know. It's kind of funny after you see it. You're like, oh, obviously it's that guy. They kind of keep showing random, he's walking by this way. And it's like, oh, they keep giving him the wallet. And it's like, obviously it's that guy. How did we not pick up on it?
I don't know.
The movie kind of keeps you guessing, and that's really fun. And it really makes you want to hate that hipster. Yes. You're like, it's got to be that hipster.
I hate that guy.
All right, we'll hop.
He should have just been arrested for, principle.
Wearing too much of a scarf. Too many scarves. I'm sorry, sir. You have to go downtown. What for? Too big of a scarf. All right, we'll hop into the film, man. Source Code 2011. A man, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, wakes up on a train sitting across from a woman named Christina. The woman knows him by the name Sean Fentress. What? But he doesn't seem to know her and appears uncertain of his own identity.
Seems very confused.
Yeah, it's great.
So do you think they'd been doing this isn't the first time he's done it?
No, so this is the first time. This is like the trial. Just from a little later, they'll be like, we need a catastrophe so we can use source code.
No, shit.
And while freaking out, we see a soda opening. Woman drops coffee on his foot. Christina says she's made a decision about something. The man who we now think is named Sean gets up because he feels sick. We see a man pick up a wallet and hand it to another man. This causes Sean to go outside, and we see we are now in Chicago. And then Sean runs to the bathroom and sees a reflection different from his own. It's so fun.
That was
It's great.
terrifying.
Yeah, it's like, man, the way they roll out source code for his character, it's like, you couldn't tell him anything. Like, you couldn't just be like, hey, by the way, this is happening.
Would he even remember?
I know. I mean,
once he got into the body?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he would.
Well, I just mean, can they wake him up in the little geosphere that they have him in and just be like, hey, so we're going to just say what we're doing here.
Your brain's out.
It's like, all right, so do you want to do this? Do you have anything you want to do first before we hop into this whole source code situation? Oh, you want to call your father? Okay, well, you're dead. He knows you're dead. Maybe you will say we found a letter and we can give that to him and that would make it feel better. And then you can proceed with his source code stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of what the fuck is going on here?
Because he's still kind of alive, just a little bit, right?
His brain is.
His brain is.
Yeah.
He doesn't have legs. Or
Nope. Nothing.
The back part of his skull.
He's just got here up. But so yeah, he's freaking out, and then Christina says everything will be okay.
Oh, it's comforting.
And after the 8 minutes, a bomb goes off on the train, and the man awakens to find himself strapped into a small geosphere type dome thing.
Yeah, it reminded me of that movie with Bruce Willis when it
Replicant.
No, maybe, but he gets into like he's a prisoner and he's sent back in time to try to find the 12 monkeys.
12 Monkeys. I own that movie.
That was fucking cool.
I've seen parts of it, and I've still yet to finish it. We need to do that. And in this little geosphere, their Air Force Captain Goodwin explains to him through a computer screen that he is actually Coulter Stevens, a decorated Army helicopter pilot, now on a mission to locate the maker of a bomb which destroyed a train headed into Chicago.
Got it good too. Like, why was he going after the train? I feel like you've got a dirty bomb.
I think
I don't know. I guess he wants to blow shit up.
Psychopaths, they just want to blow up a bunch of stuff. I guess it shuts down the train systems.
Oh,
so now nobody can get a train, so it's going to be harder to get everybody out of Chicago.
Yes.
That's how I would think about it, I guess.
Hell yeah.
And they're like, hey, yo, time loop stuff. We're doing this. This is source code. Nice to meet you. You got 8 minutes.
It is cool, and it kind of reminded me of when he wakes up and she has to go through the, I don't know. It makes him. She's like making him say these phrases, like responses to like things she's saying. It reminded me a lot of Blade Runner.
Yeah.
When he's going through like the debriefing or whatever he's doing. I don't know what it is.
And it's very Manchurian Candidate. It's also, it's a direct reference to the Queen of Hearts or whatever, because that's like a big thing. That's how they turn him on to kill. That's not quite what it's not supposed to sound like that, but it did. So
it's like a nudie play.
Yeah. So Coulter Stevens, he has no memory of how he became involved in the source code project. His last memory is flying into a recent mission in Afghanistan while taking on enemy gunfire. It's all like, where's my unit? He's like, you ain't got no unit no more.
No unit, man. You got nothing down there.
Lieutenant Coulter, you ain't got no unit. So he's super confused. Goodwin starts relating a visual and vocal pattern to wake him up. Memory thread 1, listen to the following passage. Lily awoke in an evening dress and opera cloak. In her hand were 5 playing cards. They were the Queen of Spades, 4 of Clubs, 9 of Clubs, 3 of Hearts, 9 of Hearts. End of thread 1. Thread 2. Here's a damn owl. And then he's like, oh, my favorite owl. Now I know you. You're Goodwin.
I feel like I'd be so confused.
Yeah.
Just waking up for that.
It's like, I love that stuff, like MK Ultra type of
Hell yeah.
movies and stuff like that. It's always so fun when they put that in
MK Ultra is gnarly.
Gnarly. Insane. Whew. Good thing you weren't like a soldier back in the day. Oh, I just now remembered. I forgot to write down some questions. Would you want this?
Sure.
Would you do the source code thing?
Oh, if is either this or death? Yeah, sure.
You just do it. Maybe I can kind of get I can just date Michelle Monaghan for a while.
Yeah, just keep me in here for a little while. Make me fucking cool.
Can you make it longer than 8 minutes? I don't know, 50 years?
Yeah, just forever. Be young and hot forever.
Yeah.
Rich, probably.
Yeah, exactly. It probably has works in a building on the top floor or something. So we see another man come up on screen and read something, then walk away. Goodwin asks, who bombed the train? And he's like, I don't know who bombed the goddamn train. What are you talking about? I just got in there. I didn't even know what I was doing in there. And Coulter wants to know what happened to his team. And then he immediately gets zapped back into the train because they are not nice about it. Pretty cool, though. I like the transitions to getting sucked in. It's almost like... what is it whenever you got the ink blots, that type of thing?
Yeah.
Except it's blue and stuff.
Right. I can't remember the name of it.
So we are back with Christina. Coulter still thinks it's a simulation. He acts very erratic and harasses a comedian. I just love Jake's goofy face when he's being told about the comedian. He's always like, huh? And he just does these little boyish smiles throughout this. And it's where he's just kind of messing around. And I don't know, no one does that better than Jake. And so Coulter walks around not believing how real everything looks. He starts trying to figure out where the bomb is. I love when he starts running through it, and Christina starts talking. He's like, I don't have the time to talk to you right now. Natalie turns to me up. It's like, I bet all men wish they could say that to the girls. We're doing stuff. We can't deal with this.
I was kind of surprised that he never just like immediately started yelling like, "There's a bomb!
I know.
There's a bomb!"
He never tried that. Not once.
Everyone, help me find the bomb.
Yes. So anybody here ticking? Let's all look for a bomb.
That one just caused a huge panic.
Yeah. And then he goes into the bathroom and finds a big bomb that is connected to his cell phone. He asks out loud what to do with it, but he doesn't hear any response from Goodwin because it's another reality.
Ziggy's on another call.
Yeah. Culture pretends to be a train security man. The train full of people don't believe him. I almost said the train doesn't believe him.
No, it doesn't.
The train's like, no, you're not. Get out. Oh, a guy on a laptop, he tells everybody, hey, everybody shut off your phones. Nobody get on your phones. Nobody get on your laptops. Don't use the internet. And the guy's like, I'm not. I'm making a deal. And then he just punches the shit out of him. And it's like, Christina comes up, you broke his jaw. And he's like, and then as the train's about to not blow up, he's like, you're not real. And there's not going to be a next time.
It's like the lady on the plane.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
that's what she was doing.
Oh my gosh, she got source coded.
Maybe she saved the plane.
Oh my God.
And everyone on it.
We all got saved.
Or maybe she was just a horrible person.
What we don't know is that there's actually a different person that was source coding them. So he wakes back up in the geosphere thing, but now there's hydraulic fluid leaking, which is really...
in his little chamber?
Yeah, it just adds like
falling apart.
A little bit of a mystery to everything.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because everything's cold. He's like freezing to death.
Oh, that's like the next time he goes back in, yeah. So Coulter yells that he wants to talk to the man in crutches. He just wants to know where his unit is. Once again,
he's obsessed with finding his unit.
You ain't got no unit, man. So Goodwin asks the man in the crutches if she can give him some sort of information to help him out. She then explains that the train he is on already blew up and they believe that there will be more from the same terrorist and he has to find him. He then tells them where the bomb is and the cell phone. She says there are 52 people with cell phones on that plane or train. Something I like is, Goodwin, like that character, when you first watch it, it's kind of like, what's her deal? Right? Because she seems sympathetic a little bit and she seems like she has no idea what's going on. And I think it's very fun that during this scene, she's like, I got to do something. Like, we don't know what we're doing here. We're just trying to figure this out as we go.
It too.
Yeah. And it's like, once you realize it's like the first time, it's like, oh man, it kind of just adds a little more tension and like fun to the movie, I feel like, personally.
Yeah. I was wondering, did they ever mention about, they don't know of any like time limit before this next dirty bomb's supposed to go off.
Yeah. They just know at some point it's going to happen. That day.
Did he tell them that it was going to happen? Like the bomber?
They said that he's going to do like 2 more attacks.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Not sure when. I'm assuming it's the same day, but I don't know. The guy could have been a little quicker about it, I guess.
Put one on a bus.
Yeah. And he has to keep, we learned that he has to keep going until he figures out who it is. He is sent back in, but at the last second, he asks about his father. Then boom, back in. And we're like, huh? What about your father? It's like, oh no, a guy with daddy issues? What is this, Lost? So now he's ready to do the mission. He starts asking if anyone is suspicious. It turns to the guy taking the tickets. Hey, yeah, here's my ticket. Does anybody look suspicious around here? It's like, you seem suspicious. Yeah. Why are you talking to me like this? It's so funny. This movie is very, secretly very funny in some parts. Yeah. He asks Christina to play along with him to help him find out if anybody here seems suspicious. He also seems to be liking her more and more because she starts making him laugh and, Michelle Monaghan. She's fun.
She's like the only nice person to him.
Everybody else is having her. She's the only morning person on this train. So, and then they're kind of looking at people and asking about them. And then he sees like a minority guy walk out of the bathroom and she's like, now we've slipped into racial profiling.
Yeah.
But he ends up following the man and asks Christina to come with him. He's like, I just have a bad feeling about this train. Let's get off. And then he convinces her with a kiss.
He's like following this guy around, and she's like, why are you following this guy? And he has to just like, it's not because he looks Middle Eastern.
It's like, they go outside. He's like, sit down on this bench. But yeah, he follows into the train station bathroom. It's a bunch of awkward looks. He's just straight up staring at him. The guy's like, why are you staring? And then like the guy turns a corner like really suspiciously, which he seems suspicious, but it's like, would anybody else just not book it like that? if some giant Jake Gyllenhaal looking guy was just staring at him, it's
Yeah,
like, this
I
guy's
would.
either gonna like have sex with me or gonna beat me up. I got to get out of here. But they go
We can only
outside,
be so lucky.
right? So they go outside. The man sits on a bench, and so does Coulter. He has to borrow his phone and then tries to steal his briefcase.
She just tears it
Yeah,
up.
they fight, and then eventually the train blows up, and he's like, "God dang it!"
Dang it.
And then the fight kind of continues a little bit, and Coulter is kicked onto the train tracks and then hit by a
That
train.
sucked.
And as he dies and goes back to the geosphere this time, like he's seeing visions of like Christina and like the Chicago Bean and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
But you're like, well, that didn't happen before. What's going on now? And this is where when he's in like his little container thing, it's all freezing cold and stuff, and he has no communication with Goodwin, which I'm assuming
somebody like spilled a bunch of ice in his
like
container
someone
in the
just
real
accidentally,
world.
oh, dang it, I unplugged something. I assume it's like the more like crazy and
yeah.
distorted he feels,
like more distressed.
and it's like his brain's kind of like, kill me, please.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, I thought so.
Because
that was a cool realization.
Yeah.
When you figure out that's what's going on.
Yeah, it's really, I know. This movie's great at that stuff. Because everybody else around him's like, what's going on? It's like, I don't know. He'll have to figure it out himself. And we're like, what do you mean, dude? You should know.
Yeah, he doesn't. He just pretends like he does.
Yeah. So he's trying to get out. And while Goodwin and the crew try to figure out what is going on, though they seem to know more than what they're saying, Coulter gets his spear back online and everything is back to normal. The man in crutches that we learn is Dr. Rutledge sits in front of the camera. Coulter starts asking him questions. Goodwin and the source code's creator, Dr. Rutledge, tell him that the source code is not a simulation, but a visit into the past in the form of an alternate reality. He's told that he cannot truly alter the past to save any of the passengers, but that he must gather intel that can be used to alter the future and prevent future attack. Goodwin assures Stevens that everything will be okay.
As long as you find the bomb.
Yes. I love Jeffrey Wright. He is chewing the scenery, and I love it. He is making a meal out of the role, just like with the way he's talking. He's like very abrupt with his talking, and then he'll kind of slow down and then abrupt again. And it's like fun.
Yeah.
Seems like a bad guy, and I love it.
Guy.
Yeah. And it's fun that it's, and then he has the line, source code is not time travel, but time reassignment.
Ooh, time reassignment.
And it just goes into, because you obviously think the movie's going to be about time travel, and then it's like, no, it's an alternate reality movie. And it's like, yes, queen.
Super woo-woo.
Yeah. So they explain that he needs to find the bomber before he sets off another bomb, but Coulter is obsessed with saving all the people. Goodwin tells him it's pointless because those people are already dead, even Christina. And he's like, so I can't
But are they?
have sex with her?
She's not going to see my unit.
Yeah. So they tell him a handgun is on the train, and to try and get it, he starts predicting everything that is happening. He's like, can, shoe, ticket. He tells Christina that she is beautiful and very kind, and then goes for
but
the
you're gonna
gun.
die, lady.
Yeah. So he tries to go for the gun. When he tries, he gets attacked by the train security and is knocked out. He has to borrow Christina's phone. He asks her, what would you do if you only had a minute to live? He says he would call his dad and say he's sorry.
Well, for dying?
Yeah. I guess they had a fight before. Yeah. This is where we get a line. Tell me everything will be okay. Everything's going to be okay. And the train blows up, but it's like slow motion. It looks so good.
That was badass.
I love it. And then as he
It
dies.
takes him like 4 lifetimes just to kiss this girl.
Yeah, I know. It's like, dude, you've gone in there so much. You could at least had a quickie by now, probably at this point.
Oh, we got 6 minutes.
Yeah. And then there's more flashes of Christina after he dies. And then he's kind of, getting more frazzled, and he's asking more questions to Goodwin. Goodwin kind of like leans over to read something, and then he sees a patch on her shoulder. And it's like the military patch. And then she starts talking to him. It's like, she says, you should have found the suspect by now.
yeah, man. What the fuck?
It's like, I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know if you know this. I'm dead, essentially. And then he continues to ask about his father. She tells him to check everybody's pockets, purses, everything.
Just pick up everyone and dump them out.
Start punching people and go through their
schoolyard
stuff.
bully, taking their lunch money.
It's like, there's a lunatic on this train.
Thank God the train blew up.
Yeah. So he goes back in with a mission to find out what the patch he saw means. He asks Christina to find out about Coulter Stevens. This is where he's like already up and drawing a little patch on a piece of paper. He then notices a guy on a phone. It's the hipster looking guy that's hanging out with like all the kids from college. He's the guy's like, because the guy's making eye contact with him, and then he starts walking up. He's like, "Oh shit! I made eye contact with the wrong person.
Yeah.
I'm going to die."
I think he should have just punched that guy for good measure, even though he knew like he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Just every time he walks by, just like what?
Punch him. It's like, why did I keep having deja vu that this guy keeps punching me?
You deserve that in another reality. I promise.
And he starts going through the guy's bag and like, and it's funny because he's such a messy bag. You can never find anything. Huh? So funny. And then the douchebag from earlier that's like on his laptop says like, "Hey, like stop doing that." He's like tells him to mind his own business. He's like,
go back to your deal.
This doesn't end well for you. And then Coulter finds nothing in his bag though. He goes to the second story of the train when he sees like this lady works for a medical hospital. What other are there? And he talks to the older lady. He asks about the patch that he drew. She's like, "You're crazy. I don't like what happened down there. And is this how they is this how they tell y'all to treat civilians?" So she says he's part of an Air Force, part of like the Nell section of the Air Force or whatever. He borrows her phone. She's like, "I'll give you money." He's like, "Just take it. Leave me alone."
Get away from me, please.
And calls the Air Force and asks for Rutledge and tells him Coulter Stevens is calling.
Hello, Air Force.
Hi, Air Force. I don't know how to begin.
So you're not going to believe this. I'm not crazy.
Part of me is like, add 5 minutes. Let him talk to Rutledge. I want to see how that conversation would go. Yeah. But we'll get to see that a little later. Suddenly, Christina shows up and tells him that he himself died 2 months ago.
But he's not. But
well, so they said that he died.
Oh, like for the papers.
Yeah, he just like. But they sent ashes of him to his father. Yeah.
Just the ashes of his legs and his unit.
Yeah. It's like, wow, that's a lot of ashes. That was only one part of his body. You won't be able to guess which one. And this kind of makes him freak out. And suddenly his visions are getting weird, kind of like glitchy. And then visions of his time in the military starts popping up. And then he wakes up in the spear. And then he just immediately, it's great. Love this scene where he's like, "Goodwin, am I dead?" And she's like, whoa, what?
Well, we weren't going to say anything, but yeah.
It's like, yeah, I heard it on the radio. And they're like, what? So Goodwin tries to pass by the question, but she eventually tells him part of his brain still remains activated. He's like,
just the juicy part.
Which part? Why am I so horny in the alternate reality?
Yeah.
Sorry, we're making this so perverted. We can't help it. They said unit so many times. So he asks if he is just imagining that he is in the capsule, and then suddenly the capsule starts to shift and grow. And it's like, bro, you can make this whatever you want.
You can make it super comfortable if you wanted to.
Dang, it's a room full of beds.
It's a really uncomfortable, cold, like sterile pod in the middle of the Arctic.
With a bunch of angles and things to sit on. So he's pissed, super pissed now. Rutledge comes in, tells him none of this matters, and he has to focus on finding the bomber. Rutledge tells him that anything he does in there does not affect the reality he is in. And then he also says, most soldiers would love this opportunity to keep serving their country. Coulter says, that is not true.
Yeah, that was some appropriation.
Yeah, it's like, no, I think a lot of us would just kind of rather die now, you know?
Just like, give me an option at least.
Yeah, could you put me in the brain thing and be like, do you want to do this? Nah, all right.
Nah, okay, yeah, unplug.
Because I do think if they gave him the option, he probably would have done it for a while.
Maybe, yeah. He'd be like, listen, you're dead, but you can live here.
Do you want to die? But then I think a lot of people would be like, so is it going to hurt when I die? It's like, no, you already felt all your pain. You're just going to not exist.
They just show him a video of him like dying. Yeah. Horribly.
They just start showing videos of the feed in the room where he's at. And everybody's just like, just like making inappropriate gestures to him. He's like, no. It's like, we'll stop if you find the bomber.
Drawing shit on his window.
Yeah. Rutledge says he will terminate him once he finds the bomber and then sends him back. And I bet he will terminate him.
He makes a lot of empty promises.
Yeah. So he goes in multiple times and looked, and he keeps failing, and he looks more drained and exhausted. And to give him some willpower, they play a recording of his father at his funeral. And then he's like, "Send me back in."
Yeah.
Now with purpose, he goes in and gets a gun, takes the cell phone connected to the bomb, off the bomb. He dials a number on the phone and says he will find him. Oh, and then he like walks out and tells, "Hey, turn around." And then the college guy turns around. It's like, I knew it was him.
I remember being that young and stupid.
Yeah, it's like, wait, you told me to turn around. What do you want me to do? But it turns out it's not him, but the guy who loses the wallet, because he sits down with the guy, puts a gun to him, and like the guy's like, "Dial the number again. I promise it's not me." And he's like, "Crap." But then when he does dial, he sees that it's
sorry
it's
about the
guy,
whole gun thing.
Yeah, and it's the guy that got off the train and had the wallet give it back to him.
Didn't he go like get off the train and then go down the train to get back onto the train?
No, so because the wallet is returned to him, he watches him go and throw the wallet back on.
Okay, yeah.
So he died,
Right.
So he follows him to a white van filled with explosives, a ton of them. He goes he goes to confront him and gets shot in the process when Christina shows up suddenly. Because I like the actor. I think the actor is good because he just seems like some guy.
Yeah.
It's
really hard to pick him out of a crowd.
Yeah, it's like, oh, just some normal white looking guy.
Yeah, I guess that's why.
Yeah.
He just blends in like a gray man.
Yeah, and then so he gets shot when Christina shows up, and then she gets shot in the process. Derek Frost tells him, "The world is hell. We have a chance to start over in the rubble. But first, there has to be rubble."
Yeah.
It's just the way he delivered that line. It was he almost tried to do that like psychopath type of acting. Sometimes that like they do in like the Scream movies where he's like he got slow and like blah, 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 blah.
Tries to be really.
The way he does his hands, I'm like, I don't know. But I like the guy, and also I'm like, I'm not sure about the guy. So
He's kind of an anarchist.
Yeah. So he
Probably
drives.
a libertarian.
Yeah. Classic. Dang. Hope none of y'all are libertarians. This podcast is over now.
They don't believe in headphones. Don't worry.
So he drives off, leaving Coulter and Christina staring at each other. He tells her everything will be okay.
We're going to die now.
Yeah.
See you in a few minutes.
Yeah. We see the bomb explode because there apparently is a second phone, as we see.
What if he wakes up again and she's there and he's like starts talking to her like she's supposed to remember?
Yeah.
And like, what if they died in the middle of a coitus? He's like, let's just continue where we left off.
Let's just keep
She's
going.
like, get away from me, you freak.
It's like, no, you love me. We have 8 minutes, please.
We love each other a lot sometimes.
You just keep forgetting.
Yeah, it's your fault.
Yikes.
Wow.
So he tells Goodwin and them who the bomber is. Coulter tells them he still wants to die, but first he wants to go back and try to save all the people on the train, even though Rutledge says it's pointless.
Yeah.
And then we see authorities catching Derek Frost and commandeering the van. Source code is a success.
So do you think this alternate reality only exists because he's in it? And is it a different alternate reality every time he goes back?
The way I see it is every time he goes back, sets off a new
one.
New alternate
reality. Branch of reality.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So this Sean guy is getting really screwed in a lot of these situations. That guy's life is like, only one of these ended well for me. And I'm not even in that one. Feel bad for Sean Fentress,
What if he gets with Katie and he gets a call from like his wife or
like
his kids or something?
It's like, shoot. Well, let me go see what she looks like.
Yeah, oh God.
Just turns out that Coulter's is like huge.
He plugs the bomb back in.
Yeah. It's like, sorry, Michelle. So Coulter knows Rutledge won't send him back in and tries to convince Goodwin to let him in. Brings up maybe there's an alternate reality of themselves. Goodwin continues to tell him that there's no other alternate realities and it's just a computer program. But he eventually convinces her to send him in, one soldier to another. Then we will see that they don't see anything and are just reading text on a screen while he's in a box in the other room, which I think is a great reveal that they're literally not hearing anything. They're just seeing like what he's saying, like pop up on the screen. I was like,
that's it. That was really interesting.
I was like, dang, so they don't even understand what his personality is.
How are they making it to where he can see her?
Well, they got a camera, and I guess it's feeding to the back of his brain.
Yeah, I guess. How did they know he was going to jump back into the Sean guy? Like, what if he just became like a dog?
I guess it's like they kind of explain a little bit. It's like, oh, this was a perfect match for your size, physicality, and your brains matched together well for something.
Unfortunately, your match was a goldfish.
Yeah. It was just a bunch of, they're just like sci-fi mumbo jumbo in this one. So
there's a carrot.
Yeah. And Goodwin allows him to go back in and says she will terminate him afterwards. And pretty much at the end of the movie, he asks Christina for coffee, but first asks her to wait and disables the bomb completely. Takes both phones this time. He also stops Frost from leaving the train and handcuffs him to the train. Takes his phone. I love this scene. Because the guy at first is like, oh, what? You think you know everything about the bomb? And he's like, oh, wait, he's got both phones? Oh, crap, I'm handcuffed?
Should have had a third phone.
And then he starts crying. It's like, he's like, how did he know all this?
Then was so careful.
Yeah, it was, love that part. So we see Rutledge is now going to get up to 8 source codes going, and he is ready to wipe Coulter's memory and reuse him. Goodwin says they're supposed to let him die, but Rutledge says no. She reluctantly agrees, though. But she doesn't. So we see Coulter. He's like sending an email to Goodwin.
Yeah.
And then
the alternate Goodwin.
Yeah. We see her contemplating whether or not to terminate Coulter. Coulter calls his dad and pretends to be a friend of him. He says,
you think his dad would, because his voice wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, it'd be a different one. Yeah. And he says that Coulter was sorry for how he left things and that he loves them. Really nice, great acting from Jake. Really works.
His dad was like, well, I didn't love him.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Dude was a douche, dude. You know what he said to me? And then Rutledge finds out that Goodwin is going to shut off Coulter. Coulter tries and make everybody laugh on the train. I guess it's kind of like just in case something doesn't work, he wants to everybody to have a good time, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Because everybody's having a bad day.
That was cool.
Because that was something throughout the whole thing. Everybody's just having a really shitty day. And so he gets this comedian that was on there. He gets them to all like tell a bunch of jokes. So there's one that was pretty good. I didn't write it down.
Yeah, it's very Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Making everything perfect.
Apparently on set, they let him do an hour of comedy. Just so... Because a lot of his jokes, I guess, were inappropriate, so they had to find. So they just had to find whatever ones they could use for the movie. I was like, hell yeah.
You could have just made like to have the actors laugh.
Yeah.
At him. I don't know. Whatever.
So Coulter and Christina kiss in the last seconds before the 8-minute mark. Because he asked, like, what would you do if you only had 1 minute left to live? Because he asked that a couple times, and then he's like, I'd kiss you again. Again?
I'll get sloppy with your face.
And in that instant, Goodwin turns off his life support per his request, but to Stephen's surprise, his mind remains in Ventress's body. I struggled to say that sentence. He is then able to safely leave the train with Christina, also saving the rest of the passengers. Yay.
Yeah, because he called, who did he call to report the bomb? Just 911?
Yeah, I think just a 911.
Do you think they took that seriously?
Yeah, because
I mean, I guess they have to.
Yeah, because they picked him up. Because we'll see a little later. They're like, "Oh yeah, there was something that we might have been able to use source code on, but it turns out they found the guy and he's handcuffed on the train."
I had this idea that he's like, "Hello, government. There's a bomb.
Hi, authorities.
Yeah.
I need you."
Yeah,
it's like any particular one.
There's no like having to wait through call screening or like. Press 1 to talk, in Spanish.
I guess if it's just 911, it's like, hey, this, here, bomb, go.
It's a 30-minute wait time.
Yeah.
Just waiting and waiting.
You figure they would have stopped the train.
Yeah, could he just like stop the train with isn't there a secret lever on every train that you pull and it stops it? Or is
I don't know. I think that's like buses. I think we've talked about this before.
I don't know.
I think we really did go into it because we're like, wait, what's that in?
Yeah.
So they go and look at the dang old bean in Chicago, even though they work near there. You figured they'd already looked at it a couple times.
The dang old bean?
Yeah. It's the bean in Chicago.
I never heard of it.
It's like a cloud thing. No, that's like a statue
cool.
Piece of art. Yeah. You never knew about the bean?
No.
I thought
I've never been to
Chicago.
Chicago.
Me neither. I just know it's like one of those like tourist attractions.
Very shiny.
Anytime you go to Chicago, everybody goes to look at the bean.
Go to the bean.
The dang old bean. And then whenever he sees the bean, he's like, hey.
Does he flick it?
Maybe later. He asks if she believes in fate. She says no. Because
ew, gross. No,
like, so his visions allowed him to see what happened in the future of an alternate reality. Because every time he died, he saw this reality of looking at her through the bean.
Oh,
So it's like
bean vision.
So it's like, wait, what? So that mean what? Like, what do you mean? So he saw flashes of the reality that in the future of the reality that he was going to be successful in, and ask a bunch of other questions in that one little visual. And I'm just like, hell yeah, that's what I like, baby.
I love being confused.
Let's go. Well, because it just kind of makes you think about it a little harder, and like, it's a complicated thing to think about. So it's like fun.
Hell yeah.
It's fun.
I love when my brain falls out my ears.
You need to get high and watch this movie. So now in the alternate universe, an alternate version of Goodwin receives an email from Stevens explaining what has happened and that the source code can alter the target alternate reality. She's like, what?
Whoa, dang.
Because like she's learning about all these things that happened on the train of the guy being successfully apprehended. She's like, what?
She just explodes like that robot in the Futurama.
Yeah.
Explodes every time he gets upset.
Yeah. So the movie ends with Steven taking Fentress's place and asking Goodwin to help Captain Coulter Stevens and tell him that everything will be okay, which Goodwin had told Stevens earlier in the film. And that's source code, baby. Short and sweet. Love it.
That was cool.
Timey-wimey stuff.
I love whenever you can just make something happen. You don't have to take 2.5 hours to do it.
Yeah, right. It's like Minority
Tell
Report.
a story.
Good movie, but very long. And now like all movies are 2.5 hours.
Yes.
All right, so let's hop into our categories. We got our first category, the good, the bad, the ugly, the fine. It's where we talk about the good of the film, something we liked. The bad, something we didn't like. The ugly, something didn't age well. The fine, something that did age well. What you got for the good, my man? Don't know why I'm saying it like that.
No, I love the whole idea of timey-wimey stuff.
The premise is so good.
The premise is fucking cool. It's always fun because you can do anything with it.
Yeah.
And it's almost always interesting.
And the fact that they limited the amount of plot holes that time travel and like alternate realities kind of get bogged down with. Because like there's never really a point until like the end when I was talking about where I was like, huh?
It's not like Rick and Morty, like when they go into the boob reality.
Yeah.
Everything's a boob.
Yeah. It was just like, okay. Because it's like, you don't have to think too hard. They kind of just lay it out to what you're doing and then kind of open up like all the possibilities towards the end of the movie, which I think is a smart way. Also, so mine was the premise and also the acting and directing. I think it's just very well directed.
Fuck yeah.
Put together very well. So what do you got for the bad?
I don't know. I guess I don't know if I have anything for the bad. I mean,
it kind of was it's pretty solid film. I put like, there's like maybe one plot hole that they could have maybe done better. I can't even remember off the top of my head right now. So
maybe they should have had, I would have liked to have seen more of it. Like if he had some ability to change his surroundings.
Yeah.
Like more control over his own mind inside of the source code.
The spear thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd been cool. It would have been, just like what's the possibilities of what he could do in there? Yeah.
I want more movie. That would have added another hour to it. Though.
Just add 3 minutes and give him a better place to live. Yeah, mine was just like, I don't know. Nothing really. I just put plot holes just to say something.
Okay.
For the ugly, I also have nothing. I think everybody seemed cool.
It was cool. Like they
maybe kind of white, crazy looking white guy going around punching people.
I'm glad they made him a white dude, man.
Well, no, I just mean I shouldn't even said the race. It's just like a crazy guy punching people on trains, and the fact that I don't know.
I'm glad they didn't make the bomber to be the Middle Eastern man.
Yeah,
that was a great touch.
That's something that goes into our next category. The fine, something that aged well. Mine was Jake Gyllenhaal. Crushed it.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Nailed it.
I love everything. Almost everything he's in.
Yeah.
Although I've never seen
Bubble Boy.
Jarhead.
You haven't seen
I love Bubble Boy.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me? That's hilarious.
It's almost my birthday. I should ask for it. Yeah, Jarhead's really good. It's oh man, the ending of it. I remember crying during, like as a kid watching it. Well, it's such a anxiety-ridden like final moment, and then like he just crushes it. Jake Gyllenhaal, amazing man.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. So we'll move on to our next category, which is double feature, where we recommend a movie to go along with this.
You know, I'm gonna go with 12 Monkeys.
Yeah, nailed it, dude. Now that you brought it up, it's the perfect time to go with it. I did Edge of Tomorrow, another like, hey, you gotta go.
Yeah, with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, another like Groundhog Day-esque.
That was
thing.
pretty fun.
It's like when he dies, he goes back to a certain point, and it's like,
yeah, 'cause his mind is fused with like alien jizz or something,
it's
or
awesome.
whatever.
I believe that's exactly a line in the movie. Tom Cruise, your brain's been infused with alien jizz.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, which alien? Because wait, what's the alien that we were?
He's still got some. He uses it to pull his head to fix his hair.
It's Xenu's jizz.
Xenu, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what's the Scientology thing?
Man, that would be a great Xenu movie.
Yeah. Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, dude.
Someone has to like kill Tom Cruise to kill Xenu.
What's the guy's name who started it?
L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard.
All right. And that's our conclusion of the film, Source Code, baby. I hope you enjoyed the movie if you've never seen it before. And if you have seen it, I hope you enjoyed watching it and listening to us discuss it. Next week, we are doing a personal favorite of mine that I haven't seen since like high school, Attack the Block, baby, with John Boyega in it. He's so good. It's also got Nick Frost. This is a bunch of British people fighting off some aliens on a block.
Nick Frost is so fucking funny.
And it's on HBO Max or just Max, whatever you want to call it. So it's easy for everyone to watch. So make sure you join us next week for that. It's going to be a fun one. Can't wait for Jason to watch it.
I can't wait either. This is one of the best things about doing this podcast is like get to see all these new movies I've never heard of.
That was the whole goal of this whole podcast.
It's great.
To force people I know that haven't seen movies to watch a movie. It seems to be unsuccessful.
Yeah, it's like trying to make your friend watch a YouTube video.
Yeah.
And it's not easy.
Because that's what the Blank Check podcast that I listen to does movies, and they go through the filmography of directors. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. And this was on the second shift. So I just go home that night, watch a movie that I was going to listen to the podcast with, and I've never seen it. And it's like, oh, cool. And I saw a lot of really good movies that way.
That's cool.
Movies I would have never thought about watching ever. So yeah, make sure you join us next week for that. Leave us some fan mail if you want. It's in the top of the description. Just click the link and you can text us some, or go to the bottom of the description and type in the email we recommend, mailbag@gmail.com. And I'd like to thank Joey Prosser for our intro and outro music. You can follow him on X @Mr. Joey Prosser. If you want to follow us on social medias, go to our linktree/we recommend podcasts. You can click on the stuff and go straight to our social medias, or listen to us on another service. And man, I think that's it. This has been the We Recommend podcast. I'm Jesse.
I'm Jason.
And everything will be okay. Bye.
Bye.